Hey everybody, this is Gery Deer at GLD Enterprises Communications. Hey, I'm coming to you today from our studio here at GLD Enterprises, and you can see we have a temporary setup back there for a green screen shoot that we're going to be doing in a couple of days. But I just wanted to let you know that there's a lot that goes on in the production of a video that a lot of people don't talk about. It seems like everyone thinks it's this easy thing. You pick up your cell phone and yes, that's my logo, not Apple's. So you pick up your cell phone and you take a quick video and that's all there is to it. And I assure you that isn't it. If you really want the video to be high production value, you want it to look good, you need other people to help you. You need someone standing there to direct, to make sure that the thing goes like you want it. You need someone to manage the script so you say what you're supposed to say. This is, of course, if you want it to be a professional video. You also need a camera operator who's not just a camera operator. You need someone who is good at production, who understands the editing process as well, what kind of shots will be good, how to arrange something, especially on something as simple as this. Everyone's got one of these now since the Zoom world has happened. There's so many green screen setups. Now this is one of our portable units that we bring it into places and set that up. And the shoot we have doesn't require any more than that. So that's all we're using for this particular project. But there's a lot to it. One of the things, I'm gonna move aside here, and I don't know if you can see this, but here, let's try. Right there, you see this light? So there's 3 lights in this setup. You have the one to the far side over there. I'm pointing, it's not working well. And then the one on the opposite side. So you're lighting either side of the screen. And then at the bottom, you have another one. And this one lights from here up. And a lot of people miss that part when they do a green screen. And they also miss the one from above. So if you look right there, the studio has can lights built into the ceiling, and we position the screen right underneath one of those. So we already have that, and you don't have to add one in. Usually people put too much into that, and you get too much lighting on one side or the other. The other thing that can be an enemy to your video production is light. So the door to our studio that goes outside to the parking area is right there. So one of the problems is that this door has a big light. You know, it's got glass in it, so the outside light comes in. So you have to be careful about how that light affects your video shoot, because if you're really paying attention to the lighting so you don't get washed out and everything, like this, what I'm doing here with the Zoom camera and just some lights on the desk pointed back into the studio, this would be okay for something like this. But if you're doing a high production video and you've got video to add to it, maybe you're putting some graphics, like normally if I was in a green screen, this section right here would be all green and we would overlay some other kind of video or graphics right there, like you're watching a newscast or you're watching a commercial being done. And if it's a car commercial, for example, they would be standing here telling you about how great the car is, and it would be driving around over here in a video. So you want to make sure that you have this lighting all to the right specs, so somebody's not all washed out. I'm a very light complected person, so we have to be very careful when we light me, otherwise I'm just gone. And especially if I'm wearing a shirt this color, this is not ideal for shooting production video. This is all intentional. So you have to be really careful about how all that's gonna work. You wanna make it look right. We also use a scene slate, which is what you see on the board right there. It's hanging on one of the stands. And that is the clapperboard that you see at the beginning of a movie. Somebody, they're shooting a movie and say, take one, click, and it's got all the stuff written on it. That is because you want to be able to do good editing at the end. And this gives the editor a mark to pull from the video to know what scene it was, which take it was. And then a mark, usually for notes, if someone is off-site or offside writing down which scenes were good, which takes were good, which pieces you need of that. And the dialogue is going to be really important, because you're going to then piece the dialogue together. So you want to make sure you have all those things in place. The other thing I would say too is pay attention to the sound. So right now I'm just working off of the sound on the computer here that I'm using. So there's a big echo in here. This is a big open room with plywood walls. It's very, very heavy walled. So there's a rattly echo that goes on here. This is not how you would want it for a production video. Now we can get rid of that just by putting a lapel mic somewhere here and tying it to the computer. That would take that away. But most likely you would still get a little bit of that echo that has to be dealt with in post-production. Chances are we don't have blankets. They call them sound blankets for a reason. And if you're in a full production stage studio, typically the back walls or the walls surrounding you are fabric of some kind, or they're padded in order to absorb sound, so you don't get this. So when we do one here, We have a lapel mic, or we're using a type of microphone that screens all of that out, so we don't have to worry about it. But we will occasionally wrap the space so that you don't get any sound intrusion at all. The one we're doing that's coming up in a couple of days, we don't need to worry about it. It's going to be just fine because of the type of microphones we're using. But if you want to do less post-production, you don't want to have to be a brilliant editor. You want to be able to just get your video on the chip and move on. Then you can, wing it. But if you want it to really look good and you want the sound to be good, I can get closer to the mic and talk this way and it's going to be louder, right? But that's not how you want to do it. All of this stuff comes together, and that's what a professional videography company can do for you. That's what our job is to make you look good, to make everything sound, look, feel exactly the way you want it. Then post-production comes, and all the stuff that goes with the green screen. The thing is not the person talking, all the other stuff, the graphics, what we call the lower third, the part at the bottom that has your name and your graphic logo and all that stuff on it. If you're doing that type of video, then that's what it is. There are a lot of people producing cheap videos out there. It's all whiteboards, it's all whatever. And we do a lot of whiteboard video too. But if you're producing something that's live like this, where you need the person to be talking, and then you're going to take that and add it to whatever else you're shooting, like the green screen material that you're putting up behind it, then you need to make sure those mesh together well. You also have to think about, one of these things is to consider what kind of material you're putting over the green screen, what kind of video or graphics, and make sure the person's clothes don't clash with it. So be careful of all of that kind of stuff. You don't think about that. That's why we plan a video out very, very well before we do it. We have a script, or at least an outline if we want the person to sound more off the cuff. We use an outline and just have them talk, and then we go in and do the editing at the end. That's not something a lot of people want to do. They want to be able to do it quick, get it out, not have to edit anything in post-production. That's fine. But just pay attention to all of these details. If you want more information about how we do video, get a hold of us at GLD Enterprises. We'll walk you through the process. We know that video production is essential to businesses today, and getting that stuff out there and having it look professional and not just quick and dirty thrown together, so that it really looks good. And we'll put the sound and all the other stuff in the background. If you want music or whatever, we help you find those things. If we have to, we write the music ourselves and produce it on our own sound equipment. So think about that. Let us know if you need some help, and take some of these pointers. Hopefully they're good for you today. Have a great one. Gery Deer with GLD Enterprises. We'll see you next time.